fairly effective last night. You didn't have too many games to get ready together. What did you like about what you saw from them?
Well, I thought Lappy had a lot of energy. He was really in on the forecheck. Combs had a good game. Spalls is the type of player that's good both ways. He's a really reliable guy. And so in that line, you had a good combination of guys with speed. They were good on the forecheck. Obviously, they scored the goal, but I thought generally the shifts that they played, they really created every shift they were out there. And then Spalling and Lappy were key parts of our penalty kill.
Mike, do you think 5-on-5 you can stay with this team?
Yeah, I thought, again, you review the game after, so you have the impression when you finish the game and then you get back and you take a look at the game. And I thought 5-on-5 we did a good job. We can't take that many penalties that put ourselves, especially in one period, where you put yourselves back on your heels, you take your key players out of the game for a little while. That was a momentum turner, but then the second and third, I thought we started to take over 5-on-5.
Mike, a lot of this predates you, but Crosby and Malkin have struggled to score in the playoffs the last 2 or 3 seasons. What can you do as a coach to maybe free up some space for them in 5-on-5 situations especially?
Yeah, there's certain things you can do from a strategy point of view, but also they recognize that they're going to get checking pressure. We spread the checking pressure out by keeping them on separate lines. Sometimes you can put them together, and we did that 3 times last night. But generally you spread it out. If one group wants to play against Sid, then Gino gets the other group. And so it depends on which way they want to play it. One line should get the lesser group of defense pairs. So I think that's hard. It's a hard match. When teams look at our group with those 1-2 centers, it's a hard matchup.
I know there's no practice today, but any update on Derek or Christian at all?
No, Derek and Christian are still skating, and we'll just sort of see them day to day, whether they'll be available for tomorrow or not.
What can you just say about Paul Martin's kind of steadiness, his experience, especially when you are banged up on D and passing young guys going in it?
Yeah, we've talked about Paul. He's a real leader back there, both him and Scuds with their experience and what they've been through. But Paul Martin plays a game that when he has a puck on his stick, it settles the game down. It calms everything down. He's got poise with the puck. He has patience with the puck. So when you look at the new group of defensemen we have, even in the last month with Cole and Lovejoy even being new to the group, and then you had Dumoulin and Chorney in there, he's so valuable. And he's a tough guy to play against because he always makes a smart play. He's very deceptive and makes a smart play.
5 penalties last night. Is it just a matter of saying don't take penalties, or are there more nuances to getting your team to take less penalties?
Well, I think at this time of the year, you want to battle, you want to compete, but you have to take it. You have to take it. If something happens in a game where you get hit, you get a punch, you get a stick, those types of things, you just have to take it. And your discipline has to be right on line. We know what the refs are going to call. They've made it clear what they're going to call for this playoff series. The standards are very similar to the year, but they're going to hold those standards strict. And you saw right away with the goaltenders, they're going to protect the goaltenders. That call on Kunitz was kind of a gray area one, but still, that's what they're going to call. They made it clear they're going to call that. And so the standard has been set, and our players have to make sure they adjust to it and still maintain that compete.
Is that standard spoken, or is it just something that you have to kind of feel early in the game based on who's refereeing? I mean, you have a supervisor, so is there a theme that sort of is given to you guys when the series begins?
There was, yeah. So we meet with the supervisor before the series starts, and just talks about the standards and keeping the standards very similar to the way it was during the season. Obviously making sure that all goaltenders are protected through the playoffs because of the critical nature of your starting goaltender. But that was made clear, for sure.
And there's a tendency now for players to want to make contact with one another as they go back into the corner for pucks.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, or where that line is where you can either
screen?
You're expecting the other guy to maybe hit you, and so you hit him first, and you see those guys like what happened to Chorney on his first pass.
Yeah, I thought Chorney's call was a loose puck battle, I thought, on that one. But the one thing they are going to call really tight is pucks are chipped in, pucks are dumped in. You try and screen, you try and get in somebody's lane, go out of your lane to get in somebody's lane. They're going to call that for sure.
Mike, is there anything you saw from Lundqvist that you can maybe try and attack differently tomorrow?
There are a couple things, and we talked about it before the game, and I thought what created our scoring chance were some of the things that we were doing well in our game plan against them. We just have to do a little bit more as far as the volume of shots. We've got to get our shot total up in the 35 range.
Not that you didn't think he was going to come back, but was it kind of inspiring to see Scuds after the injury come back 6-7 minutes later?
Yeah, that was tough for him because it was a follow-through on a shot, and the rule is that if it's a follow-through on a shot, it's not a high stick. And so that wasn't a call that should have been made, but it was a bad cut that he received. And it shows you what type of, Scuds has played a long time. He's won 2 cups. He's a warrior type player, and that shows you that playoff warrior mentality. He goes into the room and is right back out on the bench and playing right away, even though it's a tough cut to come back from.
Blake got the goal last night, eventually got promoted up to, I think, Gino's line, maybe a few shots was Sid too. Was it just the goal, or was there anything else that prompted you to?
No, I thought Combs had a good game overall, and certainly we like that, as you guys have mentioned, we like that line, the Lappy, Spaulding, Combs line. I thought all those guys were having a good game. Lappy, I kept playing him. Combs, I bumped up later in the game because he was skating well, hanging on the puck, seemed to be getting a few scoring chances. And so Combs is a guy we can move in our lineup like we have during the year. He can play up, he can play in the middle, he's an energy guy, and he's most effective when he uses speed and shot.
What were your thoughts on Brian Dumoulin's game last night?
Yeah, Dumo, I thought, for him coming in this situation, I thought he settled into the game. And so it was, the start, he looked a little bit nervous, but the more, again, once he gets that game under his belt and he's now finished with that game and he's heading into the next one, his confidence is going to start to go up and feel more comfortable. I thought he really got better and better as the game went along, especially in the third period.
Coach, how critical is this day off, especially for the defenders that played extra on the PK, and they had a lot of just 5 guys playing defense down the stretch to get them a day?
Well, I think it's not a lot about practice time at this time of the year. We had the 2 good practices before we came in here. Today we're just going to take a day to meet. There's 6 guys skating. And then tomorrow we'll have a morning skate and then get ready for the game. And you mentioned our defense, they played a lot in last week especially. So to give them those 2 days at the beginning of this week and then give them a day today to take a break, it's important for them for sure.